The commander of the United States Forces Japan and the 5th Air Force at Yokota Air Base has issued a warning, alleging that Beijing's increased maritime activity in the South China Sea will continue following the COVID-19 novel coronavirus pandemic. Through the course of the COVID crisis, we saw a surge of maritime activity. U.S. Air Force Lieutenant General Kevin Schneider claimed to Reuters in a Friday phone call. China is using the coronavirus as a cover to push territorial claims in the South China Sea through a surge in naval activity meant to intimidate other countries that claim the waters, the commander of U.S. forces in Japan said on Friday. There has been a surge of activity by China in the South China Sea with Navy ships, Coast Guard vessels, and a naval militia of fishing boats in harassing vessels in waters claimed by Beijing, said Lieutenant General Kevin Schneider. He said Beijing had also increased its activity in the East China Sea, where it has a territorial dispute with Japan. Beijing's increased level of activity would likely continue, predicted Schneider. I don't see troughs, I see plateaus, he said. China says its maritime activities in the area are peaceful. The press office at the Chinese embassy in Tokyo was not immediately available to comment outside of normal business hours. Japan hosts the biggest concentration of U.S. forces in Asia, including an aircraft carrier strike group, an amphibious expeditionary force and fighter squadrons. In addition to defending Japan, they are deployed to deter China from expanding its influence in the region, including in the South China Sea. The latest U.S. criticism of China comes as relations have frayed amid accusations by Washington that Beijing failed to warn it quickly enough about the coronavirus. China has dismissed that criticism as an attempt by President Donald Trump's administration to cover up its own mistakes. Beijing has built military island bases on reefs in the energy-rich South China Sea, in or near waters claimed by other countries, including the Philippines, Vietnam and Malaysia. It imposed a unilateral fishing ban until August 16. The senior U.S. Air Force official added that the increased naval activity of the People's Liberation Army Navy, PLAN, and other Chinese sea-based forces has been within the South China Sea and East China Sea, where there is a current territorial dispute between Beijing and Tokyo. He asserted that vessels in the South China Sea have been harassed by China's ships in recent months. In recent weeks, the U.S. has increased its own presence in the region and patrolled the South China Sea with 2 supersonic B-1B Lancer bombers based out of Guam. At the time, it was also reported that the plan was preparing for dual aircraft carrier drills in both the East and South China Seas for August. The U.S. military's recent comments come amid Washington's accusations that Beijing failed to contain the novel coronavirus within the bounds of Wuhan, China. China has also declared a fishing ban in parts of the South China Sea which runs from May 1 to August 16. The ban includes areas in the sea that are also claimed by Vietnam and the Philippines, though China has not arrested any fishermen from those countries for violating such restrictions in the past, according to AFP.